Join me today on Home on the Hitch as we talk about our Champion Inverter Generator. Please like and subscribe. Alright, this is our Champion Inverter Generator, 3400 watts. We've been using this for about two and a half years now. Haven't really had any issues with it, just regular maintenance. I've had good service out of it so far. It's a good option for anyone looking for a replacement for like the Honda or the Yamahas, which tend to be a little bit more expensive, but these are not quite as quiet as the Honda or the Yamaha, I don't believe, but they're pretty close. And like I said, we've had no problems out of this one at all. It's always started on the first or second pull and never given us any trouble. The Champion does, though. The good thing about the Champions is they all come with the TT30 plugs, so it's ready to plug your travel trailer in right out of the gate. You don't have to have an adapter. I think a lot of the manufacturers now are doing that, but I think Champion was one of the first to have it on there like that. Of course, you got your 12 volt and your 120 outlets. Pretty standard generator, pretty heavy. I think it's right at 100 pounds, 95 pounds, but most of them are, I think, that are in this class. The 3000 watt and above are going to be close to that weight, especially with a full tank of gas. The only thing that we do regret about this model is the fact that it's not dual fuel. Back when we were looking at the generators, we were looking at the dual fuel versus just this model, and I wish that we had gone with the dual fuel model. Now, hindsight being 2020, I just think it would be more convenient, and I think sometime in the near future we'll probably get rid of this one or keep this one and get the dual fuel model as well, so we can pipe it into the propane on the travel trailer. Cool. So we have made a couple of modifications to the generator to make it work out a little bit better for us while we're camping. The first thing is an hour meter. For whatever reason, these Champion generators don't really come with an hour meter. So up here on the top, you'll be able to see that I've got a tack and hour meter. Basically, it just wires into the spark plug lead. And you've got a couple options there. You can keep track of how many hours it's run, the tachometer, how fast it's running, how long it's been. You can keep service logs in there, so that's pretty helpful. And it'll alert you how many hours to go until you need an oil change. So that's pretty good. Let's see. I guess one of the bigger modifications that we've done to the generator is going to be the addition of the capability to have an add-on tank, like an external run tank. I basically got the idea in my head and started kind of doing some research on YouTube and found a gentleman who had this model generator and, excuse me, was going over how to add a fuel pump and an external, so you could run an external tank. So he was selling those kits for quite a bit of money. Watched the videos a few times and decided to give it a go myself. So we did, and hang tight. We're gonna get a screwdriver so I can take that off. Hold on. So I'm gonna take this back cover off and I'll show you. Basically what it consists of is taking this back cover off and then this side cover over here. You pull that off, tee some fuel line in to the fuel line of the generator before the carburetor, but in between the gas on and off valve and before the carburetor. So with that off, we can get a little closer in here, I hope. Let me see if I can zoom that in there a little bit. You'll be able to see that this fuel line right here runs over to the carburetor to where it's teed in. And then it runs through here to this connection, which is just a boat, a marine fuel adapter. It seals when the plug is taken off so it doesn't leak gasoline. Right here off of the valve cover, you have to put a T and a one-way valve. It's off of the breather, and that creates a vacuum. And there's a fuel pump, a little plastic fuel pump that's a vacuum operated fuel pump, just like a lot of lawnmowers use, like a lot of small Briggs & Stratton engines use for lawnmowers. Very common, easy to find, and just mount that in there. So essentially what happens is, on the front of the generator with the gas valve, if you turn the gas on, it will run from the onboard tank. If you turn the gas valve off, then you can hook up an external tank over here to the side, and that is that boat connector right there. You can see you can hook an external tank up here, and it'll run for as long as you want it to. The tank that we have is 5 gallons. It'll run for a while on that. We're going to demonstrate for you. Going to demonstrate that. So let's put this back out here. The important thing that you have to remember about it is that to pull from this port right here, you need to switch the gas valve off, the onboard tank off, because if you don't, it's going to pump fuel from here backwards into the tank, and it will fill the tank up and probably start leaking. I've never done it, but that's one of the things that could happen. Never had any issues with the addition of the add-on tank. Used it several times to run overnight. Never had any problems. So spin this back around, and we'll get adjust the camera a little bit. All right, so we can see that the gas is off. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to turn the gas on, and I'm going to give that a moment to let the fuel run through. Engine on, economy is off. I'll pull the choke. We'll give her a pull. All right. So that's running like that. Turn the economy mode on. Now we can see that it's running off the onboard tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shut the gas valve off. And we're going to let it run out of fuel. So that's going to run out of fuel and shut off, and then we're going to add this external tank addition on. It'll take just a few seconds for that engine to use up the gas, and sometimes it can run for a few extra seconds because it's pulling gas out of that additional fuel line inside for the fuel pump as well. That's running pretty good for having the gas valve shut off. And I tell you what, in economy mode, it's quiet. I know you can't really judge it on a video or through a computer, but it's very, very quiet. The camera right now is about 3 feet away, 2 feet away from the generator. It always seems to sound louder, I believe, on the video. We're going to speed that up so to use more fuel. All right, so now that is out of fuel. All right, so we're going to come over to this side just a little bit so we can see what's going on. Basically, I've got the marine tank over here. Just going to make sure that I got the vent unscrewed just a little bit. Because it has to have a vent. And basically, you're going to take this end right here is going to clip on this marine fitting. Now, this primer bulb, I'm going to give it just one good squeeze. Now, I haven't touched anything on the generator, so we're going to leave it on. That's off. I'm going to go ahead and give it another pull. One more squeeze. Now it's running off of the external tank, so and it'll run. Turn the economy mode on. This tank can be, I think the lowest I've ever had the tank below the generator is like 1.5 feet, 2 feet. It will still pull the fuel from the tank, just as a siphon action from the fuel pump inside. So that's a pretty handy thing to have on this generator, is the addition of the external tank. So we do like that. Next up is, I'm going to shut this off so I can. I'm going to shut that off. So what we'll do here, as a matter of fact, is we'll go ahead and pull this. So I pulled off the external tank. Basically, it will pull gas through the line until it shuts off. Finally. Holy smokes. Never thought it would have taken that long. But anyway, so that's how that works. Pretty handy if you're going to have to run it overnight. Keeps you from having to get up and like refuel the smaller tank. So anyway, any questions about that, please, feel free to comment or send me an email. Let me know. I'll be glad to answer anything I can about it. Provide any help. Over here on the tank itself, this end does have a fitting too that just comes off, so you can store that. And that's the way that works. All right, so we're going to cut here. I'm going to come back. I'm going to get the enclosure that we have for it and go from there. Okay, so this is the enclosure that we keep it in. As of now, it just stays in the back of the truck. Hopefully soon it'll be mounted on the rear of the travel trailer, but I'm working on that, and that'll be another video. Somehow trying to how to stabilize the bumper and the rack enough to support it comfortably anyway. This is simply like a plastic job box that I got at, I believe, Home Depot. So the generator fits well right in there. Let's see if we can move this around a little bit. You can see the generator in there. Off to this side over here, that's a DC fan that came out of a vehicle. It's like a transmission cooler or a radiator cooling fan, electric fan. That plugs into the DC port in front of the generator. Moves a lot of air through the box when it's closed to keep everything cool. Fresh air running through the generator and, you know, the exhaust moving through. I have a, see if I can get this tripod to work for me. Oh, all right, so we're going to go down through here. You're going to see that we've got a vent on that side, which is the intake side, and a vent coming out here where the exhaust comes out on that side. And then the generator's in there. Everything's accessible from this front flap. So let's set that up. Hopefully nothing's not going to die before we close it. We'll latch that up. Pull the flap, turn the gas on, turn that off. Give it a second for that gas to move through. And there it goes. Takes just a moment for that gas to move back through. So it'll run like that in the box. Helps it be a little bit more weatherproof, I believe. The exhaust exits from that side. You can feel the air pulling in there. It stays cool. I always have this zip tied out of the way, except for now, of course, when I'm making a video. But that's our enclosure. I'll lock the box down to the back of the truck. As well, lock the box, of course. So I think if we get the same exact model, and that's dual fuel, that'll should fit right in that enclosure there. Get that mounted on the back of the RV, and we should be in good shape. But anyway, that's how we do it. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me, comment, like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. We'll have more coming. Well, next up, hopefully be working on the bumper of the RV. So until then, see you next time.